Hello, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to see how to color grade two different footages and make them look similar so that we can put them together in the same tone and saturation. First, we'll start with a single piece of footage. We'll begin by carefully bringing the raw footage up to a standard level of contrast. On the first layer, we'll make adjustments to the primary grade. I pull the gain to 896, 128, and from this side I keep it at 228. In the next tab, I copy the settings, hit Add Effects Anchor, open it up, and also check the layers. In this next layer, I go in this next layer that I enter, I set both HDR and shadow to 0 so that all the blacks are completely captured for that layer until it looks right. Then in the following layer, now we move on to the primary and black wheels. Here, I bring the shadow back up to its peak so that a white haze is cast over the shadows, and I do the same for the highlights until the hair comes back. Here, I increase the sharpness a lot. Even with sharpness, I'm working in the contrast layer. Here I also adjust the contrast of the image. I apply deepen again. I also adjust the contrast. For this next layer, I reduce the saturation. It should be noted that the saturation is leaning towards yellow and skin tones. I check it right here. The skin tone is correct so far. Now I go to the color primary log, and then I add just a little bit of blue, a nice shade of blue, teal. I add a bit of teal. Alright, it's also been applied slightly. In the next layer I adjust the teal, blue, and all the cyan tones. And here the saturation starts. I do. This isn't a repetitive process. Now your skin tone goes beyond its limits, so I reduce it here. In this next layer, I work on the boost and the skin tone itself. In this layer, I select it, use the qualifier tool, and make the selection. I narrow it down so I have it. I carefully apply the beauty filters. And in this same layer, we adjusted the skin tone a bit. I make sure I'm working exactly on the skin tone. Yes, and here it is. In these particular layers, what I need to do is carefully apply the specific filters that I need, especially the glow effect, which is very important. I adjust its settings. Next layer. Here we can add a bit of blur to the image and adjust the color as needed. Here I masked it so that the flower in the image I can bring it back. Here I select the screen so that it smoothly fades into the center, creating a clear transition effect. We move on to the next layer. I bring in the layer that is above into the project, and then I mask it. And I apply it. In this next layer, because the effects have been applied, I bring back some of the contrast. Moving on to another layer, now we apply our final color. This color works, that color works. At this point, any color we use will fit our work. I know which color to use, and if I lower the opacity, I can reduce the intensity. I adjust the white balance. Now whenever I want, I can also adjust the tint here. I keep it on this setting. Let's check the work together. This is the final result. Alright, now we want to apply the same process we did there to the rest of the work. I right click and select Grab Still. What does Grab Still do? It saves all the adjustments and work you've done here as a reference image and puts it in the gallery. Alright, now I go to the next footage and open the gallery. I click on Apply Grade. Pay attention. Everything we did on the previous footage has now been applied here. We also check the work, meaning it's not like you have to do something or make a move on each footage individually for it to match the previous one. Everything that happened to the previous one can happen to this one as well, and this way we can easily apply the same adjustments to a large number of footages. The only issue that might come up is if the footages have different color contrast situations, but in outdoor shots they're usually all similar. At most, you might just need to slightly increase or decrease the contrast. Thank you for watching the Shabra tutorial. Thanks, have a great day.